All right, for several years, I've had Gen Z in the office, and I have two kinds. The kind that realize that this isn't a career and they're never going to get ahead working in this job, and the kind that think that their career is about to take off. And so you encounter these personalities in the workplace, and you have to also be very aware that Gen Z isn't the most talkative generation. In fact, when you're dealing with them, most of the time they don't say anything. But they do have two conditions that are very common. I would say that it is the norm for Gen Z. Number one, they've moved out of their parents' house and are going to try to make it on their own because they're fresh out of college and they think that the world owes them something, owes them a living. So they may leave their parents' house on the East Coast, move out to the West Coast, and get that first job, and then something happens. Every single month, Gen Z has to phone home and say, "Sorry, mom, I'm not making enough money. I need money or else they're going to put me on the street." I heard this almost every single month. Every single month. And this is the audacity that the landlord had when he was dealing with his renters, with his young renters. Instead of talking to the renter, he would call their parents and he'd start threatening their parents. Either I get some money or I'm going to put your kid on the street. And it was synonymous with living there. I couldn't understand why the landlord calls your parents to tell them because they know the kid doesn't have any money. And the only person that cares about that kid is their parents. The kid has nothing. They're living there because they have no money. And so when I see this scenario repeated in my workplace where every month they don't have enough money, and so they have to choose. I want independence, but the job market doesn't offer independence, not just for Gen Z, but the vast majority of people in the job market, people working right now, have to make the decision between transportation, food, and rent, and then all their other bills. They have to make those choices every single month. Like right now, thanks to you guys and your donos, I actually got to put gas in the car. I was beginning to wonder, what was going to happen, but much appreciated to everyone, Mariana, A, um, Rabbit, everyone who's donated a couple bucks because for us people who do this for a living or part of our living being YouTubers, it's not an easy life. This is one of those jobs where you can work all day and not get not make a single dime because our revenue is totally based on who's watching our videos, how long they're staying, and then donations. That's it. That's the only way that we make money. So if we're out here and we're not putting out the right titles, the right thumbnails, the right content, then we don't make any money. And the, the worst part is that we could not make any money here, but we could be working across the street at the Kroger's and make $40 in a day. So that's the predicament that most of the lower class is in. Is that the money that you're getting paid isn't directly translating into housing and food. Some people are being left behind. Like there's at least 10 new people working at the Kroger's right now. And why did the last people leave? Because they couldn't make a living. So I put this small little paragraph into Chat GPT. It generated this. This is a poignant observation and it speaks volumes about the economic pressures younger generations face. The $20 an hour wage, while once seen as a decent income, doesn't align with the modern cost of living, especially when factoring in rent, utilities, healthcare, and other essentials. Healthcare for young people is a luxury that they can't afford. Because if you try to buy health insurance, if you're a gig worker and you need to buy insurance, you're going to waste all your money on insurance every month because it is that expensive. It's six, $700, $800 to insure yourself per month. That's why employers consider it a benefit. I do not consider health insurance to be a benefit. It is a standard. Uh, how do I put this? Healthcare is no more a benefit than having a place to work at work, like having a desk. That's what healthcare means to me. It's just part of the environment. Calling it a benefit to me cheapens it because, oh, look, you get healthcare. Well, great. It's not like I don't need healthcare. It should be part of everyone's life. Universal healthcare, it is an embarrassment to this country itself that you have to have a job that comes with healthcare as a benefit. You know what doesn't come as a benefit at most jobs? A living wage, vacation, paid time off, reasonable premiums. All of these things that should be normal in the workplace, well, guess what? They're not. So I drew up some talking points: the illusion of independence, the rebound home, why bother, and the toll that systemic failure has taken. And I'm going to use Gen Z because they're the ones that are most directly affected by this low wage, high experience expectation in the workplace. And so I took that, I made the title, Why Even Bother Working? And then I had it generate this script. So let's go through the script really quickly. My lunch is cooking on the stove, so I'm very hungry and I need to get through this. All right, so here we go. I used to think that working hard was the answer. Get a job, pay your bills, and life would eventually reward you with some kind of peace. But now, I'm not so sure. For people like me, $20 an hour isn't a wage, it's a trap. This is the awareness. This is what I see in my Gen Zs. Every one of them that works for me comes in with the greatest expectations for this job because they've been making minimum wage. Minimum wage is going to be $14.70. This job starts out paying about $18 an hour. So the minimum wage is $14.70, and this job pays $3 more than the minimum wage. But yet Gen Z gets excited about $18 an hour. And you're just kind of like, you do realize that this is a minimum wage job, right? And it takes them a while before they can feel the bars of the cage. It's like, oh, $18 an hour, it's going to really help me out. And then it's like, dude, it's a trap, man. Then they kind of look at you like, what do you mean? It's a trap. You're never going to be able to buy anything with $18 an hour. Maybe 20 years ago you could have, but in today's monopoly money, it's a trap. Let's do the math. $20 an hour is $800 a week before taxes. Rent in my area is $1,600 a month if you're lucky. Add utilities, food, and gas. What's left? Absolutely nothing. My last paycheck was a car payment, car insurance, utilities, telephone, and that's it. The whole paycheck was eaten away just like that. Got paid Friday, had nothing in my bank account on Friday. And you're just kind of like, well, what am I supposed to do? Before I lived like this, I was just living on the minimum wage, almost 100% of your income has to go to rent. Because if you're making, let's say, $15 an hour, that really hurts what you make per week. And this is saying that you're working 40 hours a week. Most jobs that I've had that are low level are not 40-hour a week jobs. They're 20 to 30. Now imagine doing that math. $300 a week is what Walmart was paying me when I started working there after graduation. $300 a week. Average rent in Arizona is $1,800. It doesn't make any sense. Living on your own, that dream died the moment I started calculating and forget about saving for that future. I'm trying to survive today. I thought moving out would give me freedom, but it only gave me debt and exhaustion. Now I'm back home living with my parents. And honestly, I get why people stop trying. Why work when you're working just to stay broke? The system isn't broken, it's working exactly how it was designed to keep people like me stuck. And don't get me started on the guilt. You're told you're lazy if you quit, ungrateful if you complain, but what's the point of working hard when the game's rigged against you? I get this all the time. Being called ungrateful in the workplace is very common because they tell you that that steady employment is a privilege. You don't have the right to a steady paycheck according to your employer, the job creators, even the policymakers, the people that own those very same companies. They will call you ungrateful to your face because they provide you a job that doesn't provide you a living. To me, if a job doesn't provide a living, it's just an extension of slavery because you're showing up at work, it's not paying you enough, you're having to figure out how you're going to make it every single month, but there's no other way. It's not like you can just turn the page and be like, you know what? I'm not into this. I don't want to be here. Let me go do something else. There is no alternative. In America, you either work or you're on the street. If you don't have parents, like I don't have any parents, I don't have any real friends, I don't have any social connections, I don't really have anything to fall back on. I don't know how many days it's been since I've had an actual conversation with another person in person. So I'm going to spend my Christmas vacation sitting here just talking into this microphone, trying to understand the insanity of what it means to be alive. Because to me, I'm not alive. I'm not going on vacation. I'm not meeting interesting people. I walked around in the gym and I didn't see a single person that looked like they had any interest in the world around them either. Even the women there, you're kind of like, and I've had um, people outside of the gym, lady people outside of the gym, tell me, it's like, well, I don't go to the gym to meet people. Well, men do. And unfortunately, that's one of the very few social, non social places that you can go to meet people. Because in our heads, going to the gym is a social thing. But for a lot of the people there, they're there to get in and out. They don't want to talk to anyone. They don't want to have any interactions. They don't want anything. But that leaves very few other places in order to meet people. I've never met a person in a grocery store. I've never met a person. In fact, I don't really know where we go to interact with other people in person. Work, ugh, you don't want to go out with people at work. It just ends badly. Even if you work at the gym, you don't want to go out with the people. Anyone that you have to see on a on a regular basis at a regular place like the gym um, or the job, when the relationship ends, you have to change. That means changing gyms or changing jobs. So you don't want to do that. So here we go. Let's move on here. They say get a better job. But how? Most of us don't have the luxury of time, money, connections to climb in a different direction. And even if we did, who's to say it would be enough? This is why I tell people that you just stay at your current job until you get fired because you don't know what's going to happen at your next job. You may think that you're moving to another job to improve the conditions that you're in for maybe an extra dollar an hour. When you get there, they might expect you to already know how to do the job, or they may not like you. And you go from a job that you don't like to a workplace that doesn't want you there, and soon you find yourself wondering why you left your last job for an extra dollar when they fired you a week later. I know people that's happened to them before where they're just not a good fit. Some corporations aren't going to tolerate Gen Zero's bizarre behavior, especially that weird haircut they all wear. I've worked jobs that paid me in stress and disrespect, the kind of work that drains you so much you stop dreaming And the scariest part is losing the will to even try. That is a very scary part about our current working system, is that some people just don't want to. If I had the options to never come back to my current job, I wouldn't. I would just stop going. But again, is that really an option when you need money to eat? Absolutely not. Sometimes I wonder, am I the problem? Am I not working hard enough? But deep down, I know the truth. It's not just me, it's tens of millions of us. And I think that's why so many people stop. Not because they're lazy, but because they're tired of fighting a battle they can't win. So why even bother working? Maybe it's not about quitting. Maybe it's about demanding something better for all of us. I think as a society, we just need to do better. It isn't about waiting for things to change. As a society, we need to demand better. And my first place to demand better is universal health care and universal basic income. And I'm not saying this because we're just going to stop working and live off universal basic income. The wages are too low. Universal basic income needs to be pulled out of the pockets of the people that think it's okay to pay people non-living wages. Once they have to start paying a fee for using the proletariat as trash, then they might start to rethink, oh my gosh, we're not paying our workers enough to live. Now the government's going to force us to provide universal basic income. And that amount of money will be calculated based on how much the proletariat needs for housing in that particular area, healthcare, and entertainment. We shouldn't have to sit at home in little dark rooms like this because we don't have enough money to go anywhere. We can't go on vacation. We can't save up for retirement. We can't afford to go out to eat. Hell, we can't even afford to buy groceries. I just went to the grocery store and I bought a little piece of meat and some vegetables. What did that cost? $10. How many meals is that? One. One meal in the grocery store that you still have to spend half an hour cooking costs $10. And that was both discount meat and discount vegetables. I didn't even buy the fresh stuff. But that's the world we live in. Unless we demand better today, it's not going to change. And I'm not being greedy or not being respectful or being ungrateful for work. But what's a job that doesn't pay your bills? It's not a real job. And there are going to be more people out there that are going to have to start getting angry at a system that keeps telling you that you're the point of failure, that it's your fault that you can't pay your bills, that it's your fault that you're not saving for retirement, and it's your fault that you can't afford medical insurance. Again, no one should have to worry about getting sick. It's normal. But when being sick or getting a diagnosis that's going to cost a lot of money and time puts you into bankruptcy, that is a system that is bankrupt itself. It has no value when you can't afford to get sick. You're just one injury away from ruining the rest of your life. And the likelihood of you receiving that injury at work is extremely high. Because a lot of jobs, especially warehouse jobs, are very dangerous jobs. Even at my job, I always am very worried about using the pallet jack to unload equipment because I've seen people get their feet run over. The pallet jack is unforgiving when it comes to running over your own feet. And the pallet jack, well, if you don't use it every day, it's not the most user-friendly tool that you have when you are a person that's unloading and loading equipment as part of your job. But with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And I am going to eat my food, go run some more errands, and then I'm going to come back, make another video, go to the gym, and then go live this afternoon. All right, thank you guys for watching. Remember, donate if you can, subscribe, leave a comment, leave a like, and I will catch you guys in the next video.